evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you may be, and whenever you get to watch this. Welcome to Mostly Arsenal. Before we get into it too much, I'd like to remind you to hit the like button if you like what you see. It, I don't really like saying, "Oh, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that," but it dawned on me the other night. I was watching Canon Chatter, and they said, "Oh, hit the like button," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I always need to be reminded to do that. Maybe it's because I'm dumb as fuck. I don't know. Um, but I need to be reminded, so maybe you do as well. So hit the like button if you like what you see. If you don't. It's cool. There's loads of stuff I want to get into tonight. So I'm going to crack on. It may take a while. This could be quite a long video, so if you stick with it, congratulations, and I love you tons for that. The first thing I want to say is a bit of an apology, really. I'd promised that I was going to do a live stream probably about 2 weeks ago. Then I had to work away, and the original plan was that I was going to do a weekly live stream on a Sunday night. Now it turns out Sunday nights are probably not the best night for me to be doing it. So yeah, anyway, the first one I had to go and work away in Norwich the following week. So anyone that's done anything like this, you understand the preparation that has to go into doing one of these, research, um, just planning what you're going to say, and um, little different bits of content that are interwoven into it. And I just literally didn't have the time to do it on that occasion. Then I was going to do one last Sunday. I had my first guests lined up, the three beautiful people from Canon Chatter, Stephen G and Lottie. And then I got struck down with man flu, and I really weren't up to it, and I didn't want my first show to be like less than it could have been. So then I had to cancel that, and now I'm at a point where I'm thinking I'm a big believer in fate, and I think maybe these last few weeks weren't the right time to do it. So what I'm doing, I'm getting Martin from Gunforce Edits. I'll stick his details in the link, and I'll post it out on Twitter as well. He's an amazing graphic designer, and he's gonna do all my intros and all my graphics for me. So I'm gonna wait until that's ready. It's probably gonna be either the end of this month, start of November. Um, and I want all that to be in place before I launch doing all the live stream, just so it's like a kind of a fresh start type thing, really. But I'll keep you posted on that. But like I said, apologies for not doing a live yet. Here we are, pre-recorded again, but that's coming up. So watch your space. Hopefully it'll be awesome, and it'll be the best thing you've ever seen. If not, watch something else. EastEnders will be on as well, so don't worry about it. But actually, EastEnders won't be on because I'm thinking of doing Saturday nights, which I think work for me best. And seems to be a bit of a gap in what other content creators are doing, and I don't really want to be stepping on toes or crossing over with people, especially the shows that I like watching. So that's what we're going to do. So moving on to the first topic, obviously Arsenal, as the the channel title would suggest. It is mostly Arsenal. It's not actually mostly Arsenal tonight because there ain't really much going on. But I want to speak about Arsenal first. The first thing I want to do is congratulate Mikel Arteta on getting Premier League's manager of the month. Um, I've said this so many times before. I've never been Arteta out. I've had moments where I've massively doubted the bloke, but essentially I really want him to succeed. And obviously, when he got given this award, there was loads in the media, um, you know, not criticising him as such, but saying, "Does everyone agree with this?" It's like I don't recall that question ever being asked when Jurgen Klopp has won it when Nuno won it the month before. Anyone else, it's because it's Arsenal, and it's a little bit tiresome. The thing that impressed me most was that he went out of his way to mention everybody that he works with, and making it clear that the award was for them as much as it was for him. Now the stats stack up in his favour. He had a great month, but I think the thing that is more important than the games won, the points on the table, the goals conceded, was that before the first international break, he seemed to be walking a really fine line, and he's turned it around. Granted, he's got a few players in who have bedded in really, really well, and I think that's made a big difference. But I think the fact that he looked like he was getting towards being on his last knock-ins, and he's had a great month, and the team have had a great month, the club's had a great month, and I'm absolutely chuffed for him. So well played, fella. Hopefully he'll continue, and there'll be no more discussion about whether you're going to be in the job or not for quite a while. Next one we'll talk about is names. Some sports people have really great names that just trip off the tongue. It's like my favourite ever always used to be Yevgeny Kafelnikov. It's just Yevgeny Kafelnikov. It just sounds really cool. But I've got a new favourite one now. You probably know what I'm going to say. And when he first came along, I was like written on my hand. I had to like sort of read it syllable by syllable. But Takahiro Tomiyasu, what a great name! I absolutely love that name, and I love that bloke as well. I think he's already a cult hero. He had a torrid time, especially first half against Brighton the other night. But the way he's come in, and like he's again talking about stats. His stats, they just stack up. Jules won, aerial Jules won. He was really unfortunate not to get a goal on his debut against Norwich. And the thing that struck me most, and again I've said this before, but I'm going to bore the tits off you and say it again. The first time I saw a picture of him, it was obviously his media duties. Stood there with the kit on for the first time, and the guy just looked immensely happy to be part of the club. And then when I found out that he hadn't even spoke to Mikel Arteta before he put his signature on the line, he just wanted to be an Arsenal player. It's like, yeah, that's entirely all I want. So Takahiro Tomiyasu, great name, great bloke, love you to bits. And if ever I get my away top, I have a funny feeling your name might well be on the back of it. So well played, fella. That's about it for Arsenal. I'm going to move on to England now. Sat there and watched the game tonight. It was a bit of a procession, really. Pretty much what you expected. Looked like we were playing at a really nice new non-league ground, to be fair, that almost burnt down yesterday. Thankfully it didn't, and it looks like there was no major dramas, which is always a good thing. The three main things I want to talk about. Firstly, Bukayo Saka's goal. That first touch was absolutely unbelievable. Anyone that's played the game before, you got the ball coming over your shoulder and you're like killing it instantly with the outside of your boot. It's really difficult. The finish was top drawer. So well played, Bukayo. That was nice to see. I always cheer a little bit louder when you score anyway for England. So well played, fella. The next one, Sam Johnston. Everyone's calling him a quarterback now, but the vision that he possessed to launch that ball for Jack Grealish, and fair play to Jack Grealish as well. He recognised the situation as well, and he bombed on, and it was a great finish. But for a goalkeeper to get an assist, it doesn't happen that often, especially out of his hands as well. So that was awesome. But the main thing I wanted to focus on, it was in the news a couple of days ago that the officiating team was going to be all female. Now I'm all for that. It doesn't matter to me one jot. from the official's point of view, whether you're male or female. But the thing that really stuck with me, it wasn't until Jack Grealish pulled down for the penalty that I even remembered that the referee and the two referees' assistants were female. And I think that's the most important thing, because I hadn't even given it a thought. It doesn't matter. I thought the referee and the two assistant referees, I thought they did a really good job. I thought maybe they got the Connor Cody booking wrong. I didn't even think it was a foul, to be honest. But other than that, I thought they all performed really, really well. And like I say, it shouldn't even be an issue whether the officials are male or female. You do a good job, you do a good job. Simple as that. And that kind of got me thinking about women in football and men in football and the relationship between the two, and the perception of us lot who watch it from afar. Now, I'll use tennis and athletics as examples of what I want to say. Like, you watch Wimbledon, you have the men's champion, you have the ladies' champion. You watch athletics, Olympics or whatever it may be, and you'll have the men's 100 metres or men's 1500 metres champion, and you'll have the women's 100 metres or 1500 metres champion. And the lines there is quite specific. We know there's a men's competition, we know there's a females competition, or women's competition, or ladies competition, if you look at the way Wimbledon's worded. But then you look at football, and the thing that's really bothering me at the moment, you've got what you may call, or we call, the Premier League, or the English Premier League, and then you have the Women's Super League. Now, why does the Women's Super League have to be signified with women's before it when the men's game isn't? Like I say, you've got Premier League and then you've got Women's Super League. Now, that seems to me, do you know what? I mean, some people are going to like what I'm about to say, some people aren't. I personally couldn't give a fuck if you don't like what I'm about to say. I find it actually quite arrogant, and it shows how stuck in the past the people who run this game are. It's almost like the fact that we just call it the Premier League because that's the men's game, that's the way it's always been, that's the way it's always going to be. We know it's the Premier League, but then we're letting the ladies have a go as well, so we're going to call that the Women's Super League. Now, you either call it Premier League and Super League, or you call it Men's Premier League, Women's Premier League, Men's Super League, Women's Super League. The same as they do in tennis, the same as they do in athletics. But the fact that the Premier League doesn't have the moniker of Men's League, whereas Women's apparently has to have the moniker of the Women's League. What? Because we don't realise they're women. And it's just, like I say, it seems arrogant, it seems wrong. I may get some stick for this. Like I said, couldn't give a fuck. Really couldn't give two shits about it, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. And I do think change needs to be made on issues like this. I mean, there are so many good movements going on. Her game too is something I'm fully behind. It's not even because I'm dad of 4 girls. It's just, it's wrong that there isn't this equality in the game, and it does need to change. So hopefully it will. Anyone's got anything they want to say on that, feel free to drop your comments below, or I'll be sharing this on Twitter later, so feel free to put some comments in there. I accept that not everyone's got the same opinion, and it shouldn't be that everyone does have the same opinion. But as a good friend of mine says, we should have different opinions, and if mine differs from yours, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to have a chat and give a different opinion, just back it up with something. Explain why your opinion is different to mine, and we'll have a measured, reasonable conversation about it, hopefully. Right, the next thing, Newcastle United. Now, this has been all over the news. If you weren't aware of this fact, then you've basically been living under a rock or in a cave. Newcastle have been bought out by a consortium for figures around £300 million. Now, the consortium, I've had to write some notes on this because I can't remember what they're all called. Right, you've got PIF, which is Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. You've got PCP Capital Partners and RB Sports and Media. So there's this consortium, which is some figures have said they're worth 700 billion, some have said they're worth 320 billion. It don't matter, that's a lot of money. And when it first happened, I saw one comment on Twitter. I'm not going to name the person, but it's a fairly big account. And they said that, oh, this is great. Newcastle have been bought out and they've got all this money, yet we're stuck with Arteta. And I was waiting for one of the media outlets to make it about Arsenal, but then you got, an Arsenal fan making it about us, which is completely fucking stupid. But then I thought, I was interested because obviously we've wanted Kroenke out for a while. Then we've had the demonstrations since the failed ESL shambles that went on. I've not liked Kroenke since day one, to be perfectly honest. I wasn't a huge fan of Usmanov, but at least he had David Dean on his side, and things seemed to go a little bit tits up when David Dean was no longer part of the club. But I was interested to know how the things that Arsenal fans have had to endure compared with what Newcastle fans have had to endure. So I got chatting to excuse me, a few Newcastle fans on Twitter last night and a little bit today. Oh my god, I nearly choked on my own spit then. That was really cool. So anyway, I was chatting to a few of these, and I wanted to know how long it was that the Newcastle fans had wanted to see the back of Mike Ashley, and it turns out it's somewhere between 10 and 13 years. There was a lot to do with when Kevin Keegan left, and it would appear that Mike Ashley chose Dennis Wise over Kevin Keegan for various reasons. Then you had all I think they were known as the Cockney Mafia. But anyone who's ever stepped foot in a Sports Direct shop, you tell me one person who served you actually was happy to be there. Now that sums up the sort of bloke he is, for me anyway. But then you got, I'll be honest, Newcastle's not one of my favourite sides, but you cannot fault their supporters for their passion and how much they love their club as much as I love mine, and I've got to give them full credit for that. And I asked the question last night, are you more happy that you're seeing the back of Mike Ashley, or are you more happy that you've been bought out and the club's going to be minted and there's obviously going to be a lot of investment going on? And also, how long have you wanted Mike Ashley out? Was it from day one, or was there other aspects? Some supporters who got back in touch with me said it was day one. Others said there were certain things that went on. There were even some who were prepared to give the guy a chance, then another chance, and another chance. I thought it was pertinent to mention that it's probably the first interaction I've had with supporters of another club, and it was genuinely really, really nice to have people of another club answering my questions, and just having a bit of a chat. And yeah, we're very dissatisfied with our current owner, but we ain't been like this, or we've not been put through the ringer like the Newcastle fans have. for between 10 and 13 years, and like I said, they're one of the most passionate groups of supporters you'll find anywhere on the planet. You know, they're up there with Boca Juniors and River Plate and Barcelona, Real Madrid, Celtic, Rangers. You know, they love their club, they love their football, and they love the history of their club as well. You know, it's like 1927 is the last time they won a title. The Amanda Stabley, I think her name is, who's the new director and appears to be the mouthpiece of the consortium that have taken over. She was saying that this club deserves success. I don't think the club deserves success. I think the fans do, though. And I just wanted to say that you know, it was nice to communicate with fans of another team and just get their viewpoints. So you know, I very much doubt anyone will watch this because they're Newcastle fans. This is an Arsenal show, but if they do, and any of you who got back to me last night and today, you know, it's appreciated. So cheers for that. It was very insightful, and it gave me the opportunity to be able to speak with a little bit more, not authority, but a little bit more education on what it is that you guys have gone through. And I genuinely hope that whatever comes forward is positive for you lot as supporters, more than the club, the players, the agents, and all the players who are probably going to come forward saying about how Goal was their favourite ever film and they fucking loved watching Biker Grove as they were kids growing up, because you know it's going to happen. But yeah, all the best to you. Right, couple more bits I want to talk about. This is not football related. It's World Mental Health Day tomorrow. Now, anyone who's watched any of these videos before, or read any of my tweets, or even who knows me, knows that I've had my own issues with mental health. I was thinking it's probably for about a decade. I'll get to that in a minute. I had two epiphanies today. Now, for anyone who's not aware of what an epiphany is, it's literally like a eureka moment where something just fucking hits you like a sledgehammer, and you're like, "Wow, how did I not know that?" And the first one was that my kids are a bunch of messy, lazy little shits who never tidy up after themselves. I already knew this anyway, but we decided to have a bedroom change. You know, got 4 daughters, 17, 15, 11 and 9. You know, the whole family dynamic's constantly evolving. And so we decided to have another bedroom change. And it was the youngest 2 are moving into like the middle-sized room. And so it's taking their beds down and emptying wardrobes so you can move them without the wardrobe collapsing into a million pieces. And it was only as I was tidying out underneath their beds, and the stuff you find, it's like fucking chocolate pot wrappers and empty chocolate pots, half drunk glasses of milk that are no longer milk. I can't even fucking describe what was in these glasses. They ended up getting chucked in the bin, and I think it was either I was shocked that they're so messy and disgusting and should live outside in a ditch, or the fact that I'm such a shit dad that they just like completely washed this past me. Oh, man, I've got to pay more attention to what my kids are doing. So that was the first epiphany. Now, the second one, I wasn't sure whether to talk about this or not, because it's actually really difficult for me to talk about. So if I turn into a blubbering mess by the time I've finished doing this, you'll understand why. Now, like I said just now, I've suffered with mental health issues for a good decade, and it dawned on me today that it is almost exactly 10 years to the day that all this happened, and I can pinpoint ground zero, if you like, the day when it all started. Now, Dempsey, our youngest, she's 9, and it was between September and October 2011. I was actually in China with work. I worked for a refinery, and we used to refine semiconductors, and I'd come up with a way to make the process better. So they also owned a company in China, so they sent me out there to show them how to do it. Makes me sound really arrogant. I'm not. It's just something I've come up with, and they wanted me to go and show them, so I did. And the trip out there had been booked for probably a couple of months, and very, very shortly before I went out there, I found out my missus was pregnant with daughter number 4. And we decided I should still go, so I went. And while I was out there, I think the time difference was, China's about 8 hours ahead. So, for example, 2 o'clock in the afternoon while I was out there, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning here. And I get this phone call from the missus. She's like, I was in hospital last night. And I was like, what do you mean? And she'd had a massive bleed. And we thought she'd lost the baby, but she hadn't. But it turns out that Dempsey was probably one of twins. And we've never spoken to Dempsey about this at all. But the weird thing is she's literally obsessed with identical things being in twos. It's like, if we say, yeah, you can get a cuddly toy from this shop, she'd always pick 2 up that are exactly the same, or sweets, 2 exactly the same. When she's playing with the toys, she wants to find 2 things that are exactly the same. So even though it's not 100% proven that she was one of twins, I believe this more than probably anything that I've believed in my life, that she was. And all this happened when I was in China, and my feelings of self-depreciation, the depression, the anxiety that I feel, is that I blame myself because I wasn't there, even though I know, I'm not an idiot. I know it's not my fault that happened. I know it's not my fault. I was the other side of the fucking planet. But I feel that I should have been there to take care of people when they were going through the toughest time that they possibly could have done. And that hit me like a fucking shovel in the face about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And me and the missus, we'd had a row this morning as well, which wasn't great. She'd gone out food shopping with daughter number 2, and I'm up there sort of taking beds apart and picking up disgusting fucking, probably virus infected glasses of whatever was left in there. It was like biological cultures that were being grown underneath this bed. Anyway, while I'm doing that, and this hit me like really, really hard, and it actually dawned on me that was when all my emotional and mental issues like started. I don't really go into specifics. I don't shout it from the rooftop, but I do think it's important to talk. I mean, especially with World Mental Health Day being tomorrow, but I think it's very important that I can talk freely about it, and like anyone who gets to watch this video, if there's anything you're struggling with, like, don't let people say, you need to deal with this better, or you've got everything. Why would you be depressed? I've got everything that I ever dreamt of having when I was a kid. I've got an amazing family. I've got a nice house, nice car, great job. I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm, comfortable enough to have everything that I could possibly have dreamt of having when I was a kid. But it doesn't matter when you suffer with depression or anxiety or feelings of self-depreciation. That's something that's there. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. And I just wanted to sort of just say that. And if anyone who's suffering at all, feel free to, message me either through this video on YouTube or via Twitter. Stuff like that. I don't mind people sliding into the old DMs for stuff like that. I'm no expert, and I certainly don't have the answer to everything that might be affecting you. But sometimes it just helps to know that other people feel the same, and you're actually not going mad. You're not feeling sorry for yourself. It's a real issue, and just sometimes helps to vent to another person, even if it's just like tapping out on your phone and saying, look, I'm really fucking struggling here. Can we chat about it? And for me, always, yeah, anyone who wants to do that, it's absolutely fine. That is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Like I say, we'll be doing some lives. Realistically, probably the start of November. As I said in my last video, some of it will be just me. Some of it will be with guests. When I've got guests, I've got some ideas for regular features that I want to do that will hopefully be fun and bring a smile to people's faces, and we'll all have a good giggle doing it. And I want to take my lead from the good people at Canon Chatter, because the one thing I've noticed that they do so well, probably better than any other channel that I've ever watched, is how much they interact with people in the chat, and they make, like, all of us, fans who enjoy tuning in, they make everybody feel really valued. And I know it's getting more and more difficult for Stephen G and Lottie to keep doing that, because their base is growing and the chat box is like, everyone loves it so much, and everyone's chatting either with the hosts or with each other, and it's a really, really important outlet for a lot of people. And so that's the main thing that I want to, or one of the main things I want to focus on, is if anyone actually tunes in and watches it when I go live, is to kind of do the same thing that the guys at Canon Chatter have done, because I think that's a big win for everyone. Anyway, that's me done. I suppose I should say at this point, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'd love that. I only need 944 more subscribers to get monetized, then I can start making some money out of this biatch. But if you don't like it, don't bother. But if you do, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell all your mates about it. Get them to come along as well. Anyway, until next time, be good, stay out of mischief. Ta-da.